You don't have to like me. I love myself enough for the both.
No, absolutely not. We will not be talking about my family. My family is off limits. I do not want to hear about it.
Oh, okay, Meredith, calm down, Meredith. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, calm down. Why are you screaming? I didn't do anything. What do you mean? No, I didn't do anything. Wait, sit down, calm down. Wait, where are you going? I didn't do anything. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 18 of The Real Housewives.
I said that no, we are not talking about my family, including in this review, Raphael. I am so sorry, but no, I am not gonna allow you to talk about my family in this review.
Okay, I'm just here to review episode 18 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That's it. Before anything, we need to talk about Jenny and her Facebook post from 2020 that resurfaced online over the last couple of days. And for those who don't know what's going on with Jenny, because at this point, I'm pretty sure that everybody knows who Jenny is, even if you don't watch the Salt Lake City Housewives specifically. But for those who don't know, I'm going to give you a brief rundown on what she posted back in 2020. And just in case, I'm going to put a warning and a trigger warning right here because her posts, they're that disgusting and that vile. And I don't want them triggering any type of emotions for anybody who's watching that could be sensitive to this type of material. So this is what she posted back in 2020. Hundreds of blacks shot and many killed, including children, by other blacks every week. Over 1,000 officers violently injured, some permanently by rioters, and you still think that police officers are the problem. You are an idiot. And I'm just like, Jenny, you are the idiot. Like, I was just so disgusted and so disappointed in Jenny reading this post. Mind you, this is just one of many, many posts because I'm like, okay, this is one post. Jenny, what is wrong with you? But no, it was like a whole domino effect of other posts. She mentioned the case of George Floyd and the police basically blaming him for everything that happened with his murder. She went on to say that, oh yeah, you know, the police, they get injured every single day trying to protect us. She went on to talk about the whole vaccine. And she even mentioned the Vice President, Kamala Harris. And again, her post just kept getting worse and worse and worse the more you kept reading. And I'm just like, Jenny, what is this? I mean, we kind of speculated this on the show with her behavior towards Mary at the very beginning, you know, when she told Mary to shut the fuck up out of nowhere. And she was just so aggressive with her. And she kept trying to pick a problem with her. But, you know, all that sympathy that we all felt for you and your marriage with Dewey, how Dewey kept trying to force you, oh, you want to assist her wives because I want you to get pregnant. I want you to get pregnant. All of that sympathy right out the window because we thought that he was trash. Come to find out that you are also on the same boat. You are also trash just as him. And what's so disappointing about this also is that even though we already seen how much of a trash bag Dewey could be as a husband, and we already seen how much of a trash bag you are with these Facebook posts, it's sad that both trash bags, two trash bags together, have to raise a family, and who knows what kind of evil shit that they're feeding their family to believe and to grow up into. I mean, her sweet daughter, Carolyn, I believe her name is. We've seen her in a couple of episodes, and we've seen how spunky and bubbly and excited she is for life, and to see that all of that is probably going to be, you know, raised into being somebody full of hate and full of racism. Like, it's disgusting to know because this is exactly how you teach racism into your children. You know, they start off so young, so innocent, and then what do they grow up to be? Idiots, trash bags, just like their parents. And I just hope that they you know, from everything that happened with this, they could maybe like save their children at least, because both of them, you know, I'm pretty sure that Dewey knows what Jenny posted, and I'm pretty sure he's on board with everything that he said, especially if he could treat his wife the way he did at the beginning of the season with the whole sister wife situation. I'm pretty sure that he's on board with her opinions as well. But I just hope that for the children's sake that they could at least raise them a little bit correctly, you know, to avoid them being idiots just like their parents. But Jenny, I'm just very disgusted in you again. I really wanted to like you too because you seem likable at the beginning of the season. But again, that whole situation with Mary and Mary being the only person on the cast that's black and you constantly picking at her, especially this episode. But we'll get to that, you know, with the whole Chuckle situation. And then coming to find out that we also have to see you throw a glass at her in like, what, 2 episodes from now? You know, it's going to be very disheartening. And I really wonder if Bravo is going to edit that scene out with Jenny throwing that glass to Mary. I really do think that they're going to edit that out just to try to protect Jenny's image. And Jenny, she posted an apology on her Instagram. This is how her apology went. She said, I want to acknowledge and apologize for my deleted Facebook post from 2020 that resurfaced today. At the time, I thought I was speaking out against violence, which that part right there, it kills me because I'm like, you're speaking out against violence, but you want violence towards black people. So Jenny, no, it doesn't make sense. But let's continue. By but I have since learned how offensive and hurtful my words were. Have you though? Did you learn anything? I mean, that was just in 2020. This is 2022. And I'm not really sure at what point they started filming Salt Lake City, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't that far off from 2020, Jenny. So did you really learn something? This is not something like, oh yeah, I posted this back in the 80s or something, and it's now resurfacing like 40 years later or something. No, this is fresh. Like, this was last week you posted it, basically, if you really want to be specific. But let's continue. It's why I deactivated that account more than a year ago, which is a lie because everybody started digging things up a couple of days ago and that account was still activated. But again, let's continue. And why I continue to try to learn about my perspective different from my own. And I'm like, did you though? I mean, again, the show is not doing you any type of good either because your differences and your perspectives, you continue lashing out on Mary, but you don't have that same fire that you do towards Mary, a black woman, that you do towards Jenny, towards Jen or towards Meredith or towards anybody else on the cast. So, you know, I'm not really sure what perspective you're trying to get. She also ended it with saying, I regret those posts and I am sincerely sorry for the pain they caused. Hashtag, that she put the caption, hashtag hate is a virus. And I'm like, Jenny, again, this is not something that, you know, again, was like back many centuries ago. This was fresh off 2020. You know, we just entered 2022. So for you to be saying, oh, you know, I learned this, I learned that, you know, at the time I was trying to speak out against violence. No, you were putting it out there that you wanted harm to come to black people just because they were protesting and just because the cops were doing their jobs and trying to protect us and they were getting injured in these riots and these protests. And if you would just obey them and if you were just listen to the law and if you were just listen to the police, everything would be okay and you wouldn't get shot. So according to you, Jenny, how many times do people have to listen and obey the police in order to not get shot? Because we see it every single day. The people listen, they obey to the police, and what happens? They still end up being a victim of the police. So that doesn't work. And for you to say, oh yeah, no, my posts were against anti-violence. You know, you had 18 years to grow up and have no hate, no type of, violence in you. But here we are on this show. We're about to see you throw a drink at Mary as she's walking away and you throw a drink at her violently. So where is that whole mentality? And let's not even talk about you breaking your husband's ribs, as you mentioned in this episode, thinking it's cute and quirky. Like, it's not. So for you to say that you're so anti-violence, you seem like a pretty violent person and you seem like a pretty aggressive person at that, Jenny. So what is it? What is the truth here? Make it make sense. So moving forward, I think that she should have gotten fired right away. I mean, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts because, again, this post was recently. So I'm not sure what the holdup is. I don't get why Andy and Bravo is making a whole huge production out of this. Supposedly, the rumors is that they're making this a storyline into season 3, and they're all going to confront her on camera. Supposedly, also, allegedly, everybody, I think, was on a gag order because nobody posted about anything until Jen. Jen posted something saying, oh, you know, I'm so disgusted in my coworker, Jenny, you know, she came into my house. I have a black husband. I have black children. That's understandable, you know, and supposedly because Jen posted that, she got fired, but it's still all just rumors and it's all up in the air. As soon as she posted, everybody else from the cast, you know, from Meredith to Heather to Lisa to Whitney, they all posted their disappointment in Jenny, but they didn't really specifically say her name. Only Jen was the one who really mentioned Jenny's name in her post. So I'm not sure what they're doing over there. You know, they're trying to make this into a storyline. And, you know, honestly, if you're going to bring Jenny back for season 3, this is what's going to happen, or this is what needs to happen, because this is the real Housewives, you know, the real Housewives. And unfortunately, racism and trash bags like Jenny exist in the real world. So why not, you know, make this not into a learning lesson, but put this out there to show people like these are the consequences, this is how it's handled. But I'm just not sure that if a bunch of white women are the ones that need to be, you know, like giving it to Jenny like that. You know, I'm not really sure how that will work out either. I mean, do you really fully understand everything that Jenny said? I'm not really sure. But if you are going to bring Jenny back, it should be like from no more than like 30 minutes on one episode and then give her the boot. Show her getting fired on the show, you know. But again, it's just unfortunate that they're going to try to make this a storyline. And I would not be surprised if Bravo gave her the center snowflake, they gave her a pay raise, and they put her on the spinoff, the Ultimate Girls Trip, just like they did Ramona. I mean, look at Ramona. She has been on the show for like, what, 13 years? And she's also another racist woman. She's also another one who has said some crazy, insane things, especially this past season of The Real Housewives of New York with Ebony. So look how they treat her. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continue on with Jenny. Jenny, if I was you, I would just back away from the show and just quit and just call it a day. But I don't know, it's just very, very disappointing on Andy and Bravo's part, especially the audience. We all love the Housewives shows. We all love seeing all of this. But, you know, for them to just think that this is some type of joke that they need to continue on, like, oh no, we're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about it today. We're gonna talk about it tomorrow. Tune in. And I did tune into the Watch What Happens Live. I thought that, you know, Andy was gonna address it there because Lisa was the guest host. But Lisa, she seemed like she was a little bit, you know, uncomfortable with the question. She said that she was anti-racist, that she's against everything that Jenny said. And Andy just kind of, you know, just moved on from it. He was just like, okay, so anyway, let's talk about the reunion and the looks. Like, what, Andy? Like, but Andy's a whole different issue itself. You know, it's just, that's a whole different problem. But let it be Monique and Candace. Let them get into a physical fight and all hell will break loose. Like everybody, the police has to be called in. The FBI has to be called in. The president has to be called in. Everything needs to stop for Candace and Monique. But let it be Jenny and her racism. Oh, no, it's fine. Like, we're just going to make it a storyline for season 3. We're going to try to spin this for a couple of episodes. And if it's true that Mary, in fact, is not coming back for season 3, I would want to see her replaced with another Black Housewives. But that also brings in the question of, okay, if they bring in a Black Housewives for season 3 and they still have Jenny on and they have the whole, oh, let's sit down and talk about your Facebook post. I feel like the same thing that happened with Garcelle in Beverly Hills with her castmates all being white is going to happen to this new Black housewife that comes into Salt Lake City. She's going to have to come in just, you know, completely like blindsided by everything. And she's going to have to be the one to educate Jenny on everything and how everything is wrong. And I just don't think that that's fair to whoever the new Black housewives is that replaces Mary if they decide to go down that path. I just don't think that that's right. Like, why cause that? Why bring somebody in and try to, you know, relive this type of trauma? No, same thing that happened to Ebony. Ebony from Housewives of New York. I don't really watch that, but I kept up with what's been going on with her and Ramona, but they brought her on and look, she tried to educate these white women and look what happened. So I wouldn't think that that's fair, but I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think, you know, should happen for season 3 and so on? I see people trying to pin this situation with Mary and everything that she has said over the last couple of episodes that were very ignorant and trying to pin this against Jenny like, oh, which one is worse? Which one is worse? More than one thing could be true at the same time. Yes, Jenny is a racist woman. She has said and posted very disgusting things on her online platform. And Mary, yes, she has said many ignorant things on the show, episode by episode. But again, just like I said in my review, I feel, and I'm not trying to defend what Mary said, but I feel like Mary, yes, she did say ignorant things, but I feel like she didn't intentionally say it to try to hurt anybody's feelings. I feel like she just accidentally said it in an ignorant way. And I feel like maybe if she would have said it in a more proper way, it wouldn't have came out so harshly. So, you know, again, that could all be true. Many things could be true all at the same time without trying to pin one against the other. For you, Bravo and Andy, I really hope that Jenny, they give her like 30 seconds max. And get her, and, you know, have everybody just lash out on her, Jen lash out on her, and then fire her, and that's that. You know, just give her the boot and just never show her again, because if you do keep her on for a period of time for season 3 and so on, it's not gonna look good for you. There's gonna be really, really bad backlash, and I don't really see Salt Lake City going on for season 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and so on, like the other franchises. If you go down this path, you know, especially seeing that you're trying to spin this into a storyline for views, like, pretty disgusting if you ask me. But again, what do y'all think about this whole situation? Let me know down in the comments. So we start the episode off right where we left off with Meredith versus Jen. Meredith, she was just heading inside the house before she turned around and told Jen, who's calling who from? Love you, baby. But then she went back outside. And I'm like, which one is it, Meredith? Are you going inside upstairs to take a bubble bath, or are you going outside to fight with Jen? Which one is it? But then she goes outside to engage with Jen, and Jen is just going off. She continues screaming at the top of her lungs saying, I just can't believe you, Meredith. What did I do to you? I already apologized to Sissy Brooks. What else do you want me to do? I thought I followed him on Instagram again. I bought 2 of his outfits that he made, even though they're tacky. What else do you want from me? And Meredith, she's just like, I'm sorry, Jen. I hired a private investigator for my purpose and my reasons. And, you know, honestly, I didn't do anything to you, sweetie. You know, that's all I heard. I just heard that you were doing some things and I needed some investigation. And then Jen, again, just continues screaming, and she wants to get to the bottom of why Meredith is just not talking to her. She's like, I already apologized about the whole Brooke situation. We already had a whole sit down. And honestly, I want to know as well, because I don't get what we're not seeing on camera that Meredith and Jen are doing. Because from the last time we saw, I thought everything was fine. I don't get why Meredith is just, she's so hell-bent on trying to hold Jen accountable for something that she already apologized for. They sweep everything underneath the rug when they went to that one-on-one meeting, well, that one-on-two meeting, when Jen sat down with Brooks. like at the very beginning of the season, and they apologized and everything was fine. They all hugged everything out. So what is Meredith so upset about? I don't get it. And why she continues saying, oh, she terrorized my family. She terrorized my family. But you already forgave her, and you already said sorry to, she already said sorry to you. So I'm not sure what else do you want from her or what else you're holding against her. But I guess we'll find out soon. Meredith drops a hint at what she's upset at Jen about. And she's like, well, you know what, Jen? I don't think you really want to go there with me because I'm a kind enough person to not really put you on blast and not to really say all of your business out there. So I'm trying to be nice about it. So please don't push my buttons. And then Whitney, she lets us know what the actual scandal is between Jen and Meredith, allegedly. And she's just like, well, back in Val, me and Meredith, we had a conversation, and supposedly, well, when Meredith was separated from her husband Zeph, she did a bad thing, and I don't want to say she cheated. She cheated on Zeph when they were separated, and she hooked up with this other guy, but that same guy supposedly hooked up with Jen. So I think that's what Meredith's so upset about, and that's what she's holding against Jen. And I'm like, finally, we kind of find out. I'm like, so this is what it is, Meredith? I mean, it's already out there. Whitney said it. So is that the reason why, Meredith, that you're so upset with Jen? Because she hooked up with this man that you supposedly hooked up with while you were separated from Seth? I mean, so scandalous. But, you know, I guess that's the situation. But then Whitney, of course, she's just like, you know, I also want to add in, Meredith, that the reason why all of this is happening and the reason why we kind of speculate that you called the police on Jen and had her arrested was because you and Mary, both of you weren't on the van when we went to Vail. And we just think that you called the police. So is it true? And then Meredith, she was just so shocked that she was being accused of this. And she's like, what? No, wait a minute. Wait, you're accusing me of calling the police and calling the FBI on Jen to get her arrested? Oh, Whitney. You know what? No, I'm disengaging. I'm leaving. No, this is too much. I know my real friends. You are not my real friends. I'm leaving. So then she walks away, you know, and again, she was doing Simon Says at this point because she was leaving. And she's like, wait, I got one more thing to say. No, I'm leaving. I got one more thing to say. Like, she kept going back and forth, but she was shocked about it. And you know, rightfully so, because it's such a crazy accusation. And honestly, all of this stems back from Jenny, when Jenny was saying, oh, you know, yeah, Meredith went to her memorial the same time we were on this bus to Vail, when they were all on the bus. And she was the one that put it out there by saying, but do y'all really believe that? She was the one that put those speculations out there to make everybody kind of domino effect and believe that Meredith really wasn't at this memorial, that her intentions were really bad. And just because Mary wasn't there, she was also part of it. But then Meredith, she walks away. Whitney, she's like running right after her. She's like, wait, no, come back. I wanted you to do my nails and my hair later. I thought we were gonna have a sleepover. Meredith, come back. So she's running against her. Mary was me because she's just drinking the wine. She's just like, Mary, she's running after Meredith too, which I like that, you know, even though both of them could take on the entire cast. Mary, she's walking past Whitney's trying to hold Meredith for going up the stairs. The thing is, the producers told us to say this for a storyline. Like, yeah, no, I know that the FBI doesn't need you, but Andy, he texted me. He wanted me to say that, you know, you were the reason why. So it could cause a lot of controversy and ratings. That's why. But don't take it out on me. I want you to do my nails later. I wanted to do a red color, but you're being mean right now. And then Mary, Mary was just like, no, Whitney, you're doing too much. Stop. You're doing too much. And as Meredith is going up the stairs, she's just, if you rewind the scene, she's just looking at Whitney like this. She was like, no, Whitney, you don't do that. Like, to blame Meredith for Jen's indictment, like, no, how could you? Like, no, that's not possible. And I like that Meredith in her confessional, she was just like, the FBI does not need me in order to arrest Jennifer Shaw. If they wanted to go get Jennifer Shaw, they have enough power to do so. They do not need Meredith or Brooks in order to get her arrested, which is something that I've been trying to say every damn episode, Whitney, but for some reason, you're not getting it. And again, this episode proves that Whitney and Heather are both just instigators, and they just kind of throw everything out there, and they're like, okay, now everything is in motion, so now we're just going to sit back and watch. Again, both of them did the same thing as Lisa. And then speaking of Lisa's outside, she's just dying for camera time. She's just like, okay, how do I make this about me? Like, how do I make this about me? Okay, I think this is my cue. I think Jen is about to scream at me. And then Jen, of course, she starts screaming at Lisa. And she's like, no, fuck you too, Lisa. No, fuck you. Like, you know what? I'm not even gonna drink your tequila anymore. I'm not drinking any more Vita, so fuck you too. And then Lisa, of course, she jumps at the moment. She's like, okay, now it's my moment. Okay, the camera's on me. She's screaming at me. No, Jen, like, I just can't believe that. Meredith, I just feel like she should have had my back. I was always there for her, and I just feel like she doesn't have my back in this situation. Like, I just cannot believe this. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, no, this is way too much. No. And then meanwhile, back upstairs, Whitney finally convinces Meredith to come back downstairs. Again, she was kind of doing like the hokey pokey, like, you know, you put your Meredith in, you put your Meredith out. You put your Meredith in, you put your Meredith out. Meredith, she decides to come back downstairs again for the 100th time, and she's engaging. You know, she's disengaging, but she's engaging. She's like, wait, I'm upstairs, but I'm by myself. I need my snowflake for season 3. I'm gonna go back downstairs. She goes back downstairs. She's trying to have this whole, argument with Jen. It's not really going nowhere. And then I believe it was Mary. She's also standing right behind Meredith, not doing anything whatsoever. Jen is screaming at Jenny, just continuing saying, like, you know, you're the one that told me that she hired the private investigator. And Jenny, of course... But the split second that Mary, who was standing right above Meredith, the second that she even chuckled or even made a noise or probably kicked a pebble on the floor, Jenny was so quick to change her tone from a 1 to a 10. And she was like, what are you laughing at, Mary? What is so funny? And I'm like, Jenny, but you don't have that same fire and that same fight to Jen or Meredith. For both of them, you just let them both just run you down. But Mary, again, this is not helping your case out with what's going on with you and your social media posts from 2020, because look how you treated Mary. Mary didn't even do anything. She just chuckled. She probably sneezed or something, or just didn't intentionally mean to make a noise. And then here you are coming at her neck for what? You know, the person that you should be going after is right across the table from you, but you're scared of her for some reason, right? But you're so quick to lash out your nasty hate towards Mary, the only black woman on the show. Like, Jenny's just disgusting. And you're so lucky that Mary is not the type to, like, actually retaliate to you or give you any type of attention, because she really pays you dust. And if I was Mary, I would have just thrown a damn drink at you. Like, who are you talking to? The person that you should be fighting against is right there. I'm not your opponent. So, Jenny, just... no sympathy for you moving forward from this moment on. Like, just disgusting. But regardless, you know, Jen, she continues screaming at Jenny. Jenny, she gets up and she doesn't say, oh, shut the fuck up, or she doesn't engage with Jen. She walks away, and I'm like, oh, you're so quick to walk away from Jen as well. I'm like, just again, very, very suspicious. Meredith, she's also there. I believe she walks away too. Jen, she proceeds to get up, and I don't know what she had in her hand, if it was like a first aid kit or something. It was like a blue box, and she threw it at Lisa. And oh, Jen, I'm telling you, you have the right cast, because like, if I was Lisa, I would have flipped that whole fucking table upside down for you throwing that box at me. And I thought that Lisa was gonna get you, because when you walked around the table, Lisa got up to I don't know what she was about to do. I thought she was gonna grab you or something, but no, she was just like, okay, no, you go over there. I'm gonna promote my Vita tequila right here. Like, no, Lisa, that is not how you do it. You already had a chance to square up with her on the bus, and you let her just run you down right then and there. And here you are, she threw something at you and it hit you, and you didn't even do anything. You went right after her like, no, Jen, come back. Jen, stop. I didn't do anything to you. Jen, stop. Jen, do you want to try to beat me up again? You can do it if that means that we're going to be best friends, Jen. And then Jen is just screaming at the top of her lungs. And again, Jen has the right cast, because she just kept screaming. She's like, no, shut the fuck up, Lisa. No, I don't want, no, you don't have to follow me. Because Lisa was just like, you know what, Jen, I'm not even following you. You could go upstairs, go ahead. Go, and you know what, you could take my yellow rubber ducky and take a shower with it and take a bubble bath, because I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not following after you. And Jen, from the top of the stairs, she's like, no, just shut the fuck up, Lisa. No, you don't have to follow me. Stay down there. And again, Lisa, like, you know, I really like you, but if I was you, I would have just dragged Jen down the stairs. Like, who are you talking to? And again, everybody on this cast, besides Meredith and Mary, for the most part, they all just enable this type of behavior, and that's why Jen feels comfortable just screaming at everybody to like the high heavens. Because if she had the right person to just put her in her place and tell her to shut the fuck up for 5 seconds, she wouldn't do that over and over and over again. Meanwhile, Meredith is upstairs in her room, and she decides to call the friend of the show and her son, Brooks. And I'm like, why are you deciding to call your son and not your husband? Brooks, he's probably busy designing his next tracksuit for Fashion Week in New York or in France, but here you are taking up his time. So she calls him and she's like,
I can't believe this, Brooks. They're accusing me of calling the police and the FBI on Jen. I just can't believe this. I mean, what do you have to say about this, Brooks?
I mean, if she committed all these crimes, what is wrong with you calling the cops on her? I mean, if she did all of these legal activities, what's the problem? I don't see an issue with anything. I just think it's strange.
Hold on. I hate to cut you off, sweetie, but I believe Jen is in here. I'm gonna call you back, okay? Jen is in here. I think we need to talk about some things. Give me 1 second. If you don't hear back from me in like 10 minutes, call the police again. I mean, call the police. Not that you did it before, but call the police, okay? Jen, what do you want? So then Jen, she goes inside the room and she's crying and she's like, I'm sorry, Meredith. It's just, I really want to know, did you have any involvement in calling the police on me? And I'm like, Jen, please, you cannot be this dumb. Like, like, come on now. Like, Meredith, seriously? But then again, I guess if we were all in Jen's shoes, we'll be paranoid and we'll probably be pointing fingers at everybody because we're probably like, wait, did you have anything to do with anything? Because I guess in her perspective, everything does look a little bit fishy. So she wants to get to the bottom of it. And Meredith, she's just like, Jen, of course, I had no idea about this. I did not call the police. I'm telling you the truth. Please believe me. I had nothing to do with your arrest or anything. I have sympathy for you. I feel sorry for you because you probably won't be on season 4 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And it's probably going to be the Meredith show. So I'm telling you the truth. I really do feel sympathy for you. I do consider you a friend, or I used to. So I'm sorry that you feel this way. Eventually, they kind of hug things out. You know, they kind of just, you know, plow over everything. And then Mary, she comes in there and Mary's just like, stop, you're going to make me cry. And in her confessional, she was so shady. She was just like, you know, I think that Meredith could probably get over this whole situation with Jen. It's probably just going to take maybe 5 years for her to feel something, for her to start brewing emotions for Jen. Maybe 4 years. Meanwhile, Lisa is going off outside. She's just like, no, I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe, like, Jen, she's calling me a liar. I didn't lie about anything. What did I lie about? Please tell me, what did I lie about? I didn't do anything. I just can't believe this. You know, Lisa's just not taking accountability for absolutely nothing. It's what, episode 18, and she still thinks she's perfect. And then Whitney made me cringe, and it's just, oh, Whitney's just so lame. She was just so lame because she was just like, no, Lisa, calm down. Me, you, and Heather, we're on the same team. Yeah, we're on the same team. We're women and we're mothers, and we're just on the same team. I could be, I think I'm gonna be Buttercup, and Heather's gonna be Buttercup. No. I'm gonna be Bubbles, and she's gonna be Buttercup, and you could be Blossom. We're on the same team. Stop, come back over here. And I'm like, Whitney, you just sounded so lame. Like, she sounded like a pick-me bitch. Like, she sounded so desperate for Lisa's attention. And I know Lisa in her head, she was like, I am not on any fucking team with these 2 fucking losers. Like, absolutely not. So then the next morning, everybody is slowly waking up. They're all getting ready for breakfast. They're all wiping away the crust in their eyes. And all of a sudden, Meredith comes charging at everybody towards the kitchen like an angry Pepto-Bismol bottle in those pink pajamas, screaming at the top of her lung. And she's just like, listen. Nobody is going to be making fun of me or my father's situation. Nobody is going to be talking about me or my sister. So please stop with the lies. Please do not lie on my father or my sister or my family anymore. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Like, if I was in the kitchen and I saw her charging at me, pop. Like, I am not having an angry white woman come charging at me with who knows what type of things that she's about to say or do. Like, no, I'm just gonna knock you out and then ask questions when you wake up. Like, absolutely not. But according to Meredith, the reason why she was so angry that morning was because the night before, when she was cuddling with Lisa at 3 in the morning, Lisa had confessed to her that she felt a little bit bad, that she was kind of like in on the whole, is Meredith really at this memorial that she said that it's for her father, or she's just using it as an excuse to not be on the bus with all of us, with the rest of the women on their way to Vail. So Meredith, she took it personally because she's like, well, why would I make that up? Why would I use that as an excuse to not be on the bus? I just didn't want to be on the bus because I had other things to do that were more important. And honestly, I'm not even upset with Meredith being so upset, because if she was genuinely at her dad's memorial, and for the rest of the women, specifically Jenny, again, like I said earlier,
to throw it out there like, was she really at her memorial? You know, it is kind of insulting, especially if Meredith is in fact telling the truth. But regardless, Lisa is so caught off guard. She's like, wait, no, what are you talking about? No, nobody said that. Nobody said that. What are you talking about? Nobody said that. No, Meredith, tell me what I can do to make you feel better. Meredith, what is going on? Meredith, stop. I'm still your best friend. What are you doing? No, stop. Meanwhile, Whitney, Heather, they're both scared. They're like, wait, what's going on? So they're both in the room, and then Jen comes in the room as well. They start hiding underneath the sheets. And I'm like, you see, Whitney and Heather, both of you lame again, like for the second time already in a row. Because last week, you were hiding away from Meredith in the bathroom and closing doors and everything. And now here, you're closing doors again and getting underneath the covers. Like, what? Like, but yeah, both of you want to be this huge dynamic duo. No, both of them are hiding underneath the covers from Godzilla. And then Jen, she walks in and they're like, Jen, get in bed with us. Get in bed with us. Hide underneath the covers with us. Because Meredith, she's out of control. So then Jen, she gets in bed with them. And Jen is just like, no, Meredith, she's cool with me now. She likes me. But meanwhile, all three of them are in bed just listening to Meredith go off in the room next door. And Meredith, she wasn't even out of 10. She was out of 20. She was screaming at the top of her lungs. I mean, can you just imagine the type of stress that she was put underneath from the night before to this morning? That's probably why her tranquilizer probably wore off. And now we're seeing the real Meredith because she was just screaming at the top of her lungs. I mean, could you imagine if she was actually on that bus when they were heading to Vail for 8 hours on that bus or however long they were? That whole bus probably would have exploded. But all three of them, they're just sitting there like just listening to her just go off like,
No, absolutely not. We are not gonna make these fucking lies about my fucking family. No, I am not having it. I am disengaging. This is fucking too much for me. I am leaving. I cannot take this from Jennifer Shaw or Lisa Barlow. No, I'm leaving.
So then they all reassemble in the kitchen like the Avengers. And then Mary, as she's walking by, she sees Jenny sitting on the kitchen counter. And she's like, oh no, I can't do her right now. I'm just gonna keep walking. And then Heather, she sees that and she's like, no, Mary, come back. You have to accept her. You have to accept Jenny. Come back to the group. Come back and talk to her. And then Mary, she shuts it down all the way because she's like, no, Heather, you will accept it and it is gonna be acceptable. I don't care. I'm not accepting Jenny and you're gonna have to accept it as she should. Because if I was married, I don't have to talk to Jenny. I already said my piece with her. I already apologized to her for my comment. It is what it is. I don't have to interact with her. I can interact with everybody else, but I don't have to interact with Jenny. And it is what it is. And Heather, she takes it for what it is. Jenny, she says her little 2 words in her confessionals like, oh yeah, if Mary doesn't want to accept me, she needs to leave the group, blah, blah, blah. No, Jenny, you need to leave the group. You need to go. Like, stop. Like, you see all that mouth that you have for Mary in the confessional, but you don't have that mouth for Jen or Meredith in the in person, face-to-face, one-on-one. So save it, please. And then Meredith, she comes out. Everybody's all scared and shook. And Meredith is just like, all right, I want to know who started that rumor that I was at my dad's memorial as an excuse to not go on this bus to Val. So somebody please confess to me who started that rumor. And I really wish that somebody would have just thrown Jenny right underneath the bus. Like, oh, it was her. She's the one that kind of put the speculation out there. Like by saying, was she really at her memorial? I wish that somebody would have said that so Meredith could have chewed her ass up. But nobody said anything. I mean, Whitney, she raised her voice and she's like, well, I just feel like it was just a speculation rumor. And I mean, if it's true, it's pretty fucked up. I just cursed. I meant to say, I'm sorry. I meant to say, if it's true, I think that's pretty messed up, Meredith. I think it's pretty messed up. And then Meredith, she lets us know that, no, it's not true. And that's that. Like, she was at her dad's memorial. And that's that. Like, no more conversation about it. And then they eventually all let it go. Eventually, they all get ready to go rock climbing. They all head out to the van where they're greeted by the other friend of the show, Kevin, the driver. And he drives them up to the middle of nowhere, into the middle of these canyons, these mountains. And I'm not sure if I would have felt safe going because I've seen the movie The Hills Have Eyes and I know how that movie ends, but regardless, they feel comfortable with it. And they're greeted by a bunch of men. They all proceed to go into these like buggy-shaped cars and they drive around the hills and they eventually end up at the very top. And then that's when the rock climbing proceeds. And then Whitney had my blood pressure at a 10 because when she ran down the steep hill, I'm like, Whitney, don't do that. You're gonna face plant. Like, she did it with no harness, no rope, no anything, but I guess she was a pro because she was doing everything correctly and nobody got injured. And then Mary, we see her, finally engaging with the group and she's finally doing the activity. And I actually enjoyed seeing her being a part of something like this. And she said that this was her element. She just felt at home because she was raised to do stuff like this and activities like this. Meanwhile, we pan over to her and she's just kind of dangling. she's just dangling from the mountain. She's like, wait, no, like, I need help. But she's having fun. The only thing with her, she's like, I just don't want to see Heather's nipples. And then they flash back over to Heather, and then they zoom in on her nipples, and her nipples were hard. I'm like, did the men turn you on? Like, is it cold out here? Is it nippy? What's going on? Because her nipples were literally like this, like that. Like, I'm like, okay, Heather, whatever excites you. But they all had fun for the most part. It was nice to see them all getting along. And Lisa, she was trying to, be there for Meredith. She was just like, oh, Meredith, that's so cool. I love it. No, we're so good. We're having fun. Where's Lyman? I need him to take pictures of you, Meredith. Like, Lisa, please, we all know that you're trying to be on Meredith's good graces again. They all head back to the house, and Jenny has ordered food for everybody so they could all eat at the dinner table together. But before that, Whitney and Jen, they both go around everybody's room telling them to dress up in party clothes, all fancy looking, because they're all gonna go to this club called Club Zion. And I'm thinking, wait, are they actually gonna go to a place called Club Zion, or where is this? But no, it ends up being like this huge house party in the dusty basement downstairs. But eventually they all round up at the dinner table, they all sit down to eat, and then Lisa was the first one to start the conversation, and she's just like, I just want to say that I'm very sorry for any drama that I caused. And Meredith, I'm sorry, like, if I talked about your family, I'll never do it again. Well, I can't promise that, but next week, I mean, from the previews, I'm gonna say that you fucked half of New York. So yeah, just forgive me for now, but next week, I'm gonna talk shit about you in the rooms. But anyways, I'm so sorry for that. And Heather and Whitney, I'm not part of both of your team, but thank you for including me, but I don't wanna be a part of it. I'm sorry, but both of you are lame. And then Mary, this just goes to show what type of person Mary is deep down on the inside, and that she does have a good side to her, even though to the audience, we might not always see that. We might always just see her just lashing out on somebody, or just, thinking that she's superior to somebody, because here, she had a soft spot for Jenny, when in all reality, she didn't have to have a soft spot for her. She didn't have to be the bigger person, but here she was being the bigger person in the situation with Jenny regardless, because she was just like, Jenny, I want to apologize for my comment earlier this morning when I said that you didn't matter. Like, I want to take that back. You do matter. I'm so sorry for saying that. And I really wish that Mary would not have said that, especially with everything that came out now. And Mary, again, you didn't owe her anything, like, at all, because Jenny was the one that started with you from the very, very beginning. So you don't owe her anything. If anything, by you paying her dust and ignoring her, you are actually doing a good thing for yourself by just ignoring her and not interacting with her. You don't owe Jenny anything, the same way that she doesn't owe you anything either. But for some reason, she wants to continue picking a problem with you. And then Jenny, in her confessional, she's like, oh, I'm going to try to be a bigger person now as well. It's nice that Mary apologized to me. But, I'm going to try to be a bigger person because I also have anger problems. I, went to anger management for about a year. And I remember when I got into a fight with my husband, Dewey, she said that she threw a bunch of objects at him to the point where it broke his rib. And I'm like, Jenny, that's not cute, nor is it quirky, nor is it anything like, oh my God, I'm so crazy. Like, no, because if it was the other way around and Dewey was to say that about you, like, oh yeah, I threw something at my wife and broke her rib, I'm pretty sure there will be a huge outrage. So Jenny, for you to be saying this just because you're a woman and you're doing that to a man, it's still not okay. It's still not cool. It's not funny for you to even mention that. That alone right there should have got you the boot from the show. But they all finish having dinner. They all go downstairs to the dusty basement, and they all have a good time. They all party. They all twerk. They're all shaking ass, titties, everything. They're all on tables, drinking everything. It was a really good time. I'm like, look at them being a sorority in Salt Lake City. And then they all take the party to the outside. And I'm like, okay, what are they about to do here? I was just waiting for everybody to start just making out. And I was like really paying close attention to the scene, and I did not see Mary. I mean, she participated with everybody dancing in the basement, but she was just like, okay, that's my limit. I'm not taking off my bra. I'm not going in the pool with anybody like that. I'm going upstairs to sleep. But I really enjoyed Mary actually having fun with everybody in this episode. And maybe it just takes time for her to like open up. Not everybody has to be out there like Whitney or maybe even Heather or Jen. Maybe it just takes time for Mary to kind of open up and have fun with everybody, So maybe if for some reason they could get her for season 3, maybe we could see more of this side to her, because she does stand her ground with everybody. But look, it also goes to show that she could have fun with everybody else the same way that everybody else can. I mean, it's just crazy because they're all at each other's heads every single episode. And then by the end of the episode, they're like, oh, we're all best friends. Let's all hold hands. So it's crazy the dynamic that this group has. And Meredith said it perfectly when she's like, this group has a perfect dynamic. And I agree, they're like the perfect cast. Minus Jenny, because honestly, she didn't, you know, bring anything to the show. So they could give her the boot at any second and it wouldn't change the dynamic of the core group, you know? So Meredith said it best when it's just like, yeah, we could all be fighting, we could all be doing this, but at the end of the day, we could still have fun. And then Whitney, she takes off her bra and she's like, oh my God, I'm so wild and crazy. I'm gonna jump in and look, my boobs are showing. Is Zeph around here? Oh my God, I hope Zeph is not here watching me. And then she jumps in and then they all had, you know, a good night for the most part. And then the next morning, I mean, it wasn't a walk of shame, but it was kind of like the wake up of shame because, you know, the camera is just panning around throughout the house. We see iPhones all over the floor. We see liquor bottles all over the place. The pool is a mess. And then we zoom in into one room and then we see 4 people in the room and 2 are on one bed and 2 are on the other bed. And I'm like, who's this? We see that Meredith and Lisa are on one bed and then Whitney and Jen are on the other bed. And I'm like, what is going on here? I know that room probably smelled like onion rings and ass juice. And I know somebody's kitty cat probably got ate the night before because there's no way that they were all just, you know, having a good time like that and nobody, you know, got a little action here and there. And I would not be mad at any of them for that. But it was just so interesting because Meredith was just upset with Lisa and Lisa was trying to like beg Meredith to continue being her friend. And here they are sleeping next to each other. Whitney and Jen are next to each other. It's just all crazy to me. I'm like, please somebody, you know, show the unaired footage that we didn't get to see from the night before to this morning because it was just wild to me. They're all waking up and they all reunite in the kitchen and they're all just talking about the night before and how wild it was and how crazy it was that Whitney, Jen, Meredith, and Lisa all ended up in the same room sleeping together. And it's just so funny to me how this is also another calm before the big storm next week. Because again, just when we're kind of ending things on a peaceful note, I'm like, oh, okay, everybody's having fun. Everybody just kind of slept together. It's cute. It's fine. We're going to have a nice transition to the finale of this season. Wrong. Because next week, it's just kind of going right back to 100. I'm like, oh my God, like this cast is crazy. I'm telling you, this is one of the best and wildest seasons of Housewives in general in a very long time. I mean, this one I was really invested in because it's just crazy nonstop and everybody's just kind of like at it with each other. Like everybody's just like, okay, you're my target this week. Next week, you're going to be my target. The following week, it's you. The next one is you. Oh, and I'll see you at the reunion. Like, it's just a free for all. And I really like it. Again, they have the perfect cast for this show, minus Jenny. Jenny, get the boot, but I hope that they could somehow get everybody together, including Mary, for season 3, because I don't know. I mean, without Jen, if Jen possibly allegedly goes to jail, you know, for her crimes that she allegedly did, she's going to be off the show. She might be part of season 3 for a little bit, but she's going to be off. And Mary, I don't think she's coming back for season 3. And I just, like I said, I don't think that Heather and Whitney could really carry the show. Meredith and Lisa, they're good, but the other two, I don't know. They need to, if they're going to get some new housewives, they need to make it quick and they need to, you know, get the right ones because this cast is really good. But I guess we'll see what happens next week. And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about this episode? I mean, again, it's just crazy how it's just a roller coaster of a ride. Like 1 minute we hit a speed bump and then the next minute you're like, okay, everything is going well. Wait, we're going up. We're going right back down again. We're just going to continue that on to next week. But let me know your thoughts on the episode. And what do y'all think about the situation with Jenny? I mean, is there a solution for season 3 and the show itself moving forward? Or where can they go from here? I mean, the first step that they should have done is just fire Jenny a couple days ago when all of this got exposed. But for some reason, Bravo and Andy are just keeping silence to everything. They're trying to silence the cast. They're trying to keep everything a secret and trying to make this into a storyline for season 3 instead of addressing the fans and the audience, who we, as the audience, we watch the show faithfully every week. So it's just a huge slap in the face for us, and Andy and Bravo do better. But until then, I guess we'll see how all of this unravels. But until then, y'all, let me know your opinions down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Bye, y'all. Mwah.